Hey everyone, Sparks back with an Echocalypse video, and Horus just dropped, and she is our brand new DPS Egyptian goddess. I love her design, but we're not here just to talk about her design. Let's take a look at her skills and see if she's actually worth pulling. If you watched my roadmap for new units coming out over the next couple months, you'll already know what I predict. Link to that video in the description below. And talk about the next releases over the next 5 or 6 units or so. But let's take a look at her skills. So she is a DPS unit from Naboo. We need more badass Naboo units. I always love them. And let's see, her support says Naboo team members gain armor 10%. Okay. Then the next one is DPS team members get attack 10%. And then the third one, if you're going all the way on her, all team members get attack plus 10%. So that will definitely be valuable if you actually get that. But her artifice is, the same kind of stuff that we expect to see here with all the global units. And then her links are Bastet and Garula and Pan and Wajette and Baphomet, which are all like OG release units. So really easy to get the links on her, which is pretty cool. Okay, but her actual skills. Her first one here, this is just her normal ability, okay? Horus harnesses the power of moonlight, dealing physical damage equal to 88% of attack to a single row of enemies and inflicts one of the following to the target. Bleed, armor break, and seal for 2 turns. Okay, so this is just a regular attack. She hits a whole row of enemies and is going to inflict either let's see, was it armor break? Yeah, either armor break, which reduces armor resistance and damage reduction by 10%, and then bleed, which is something we haven't really talked about before, takes debuff damage equal to 10% of max HP each round, not exceeding 200% of the applier's attack, ignoring armor and resistance. Or could be seal, has a 10% chance to fail when they take an action. Now, 10% chance is very low, but potentially just getting a unit to do nothing off of Horus's basic attack is pretty cool. Although, as you'll see later on, maybe she's not even going to be using her basic attack all that often. But I would say this is actually one of the best basic attacks we've probably seen. Because it's an AoE damage that can potentially have some pretty devastating debuffs. Okay, so her special attack here says at level 1, the moon is enraged like Horus. Or Horus is an angry girl. Dealing 247% physical damage to a single row of enemies and additional physical damage equal to 100% of attacks to target that have less than 4 rage. Okay, so basically she's just going to do a ton of physical damage. As you level it up, of course, like most of these skills, it's going to get more abilities, and it will eventually have everything we just said before, of course, and then say the damage inflicted to targets carrying a debuff is decreased, or rather increased by 100%, and the skill, if you finally get it to 7 stars, will have additional 50% attack bonus. And a debuff is defined as having abnormal effects, control effects, and negative effects, such as like what she can do with her normal attack. So she kind of self-synergizes there. So this skill in particular is basically just a lot of damage, and can potentially do, even more damage to units that have reduced rage, which synergizes with the Spear of Longinus that we just got, actually. So, a little bonus there if you got that. But now let's take a look at her passive. So at the start of the battle, Horus inflicts Strip on the target of the opposite row, which lasts for the entire battle. And Strip is defined as before Horus takes her first action, she absorbs 1 rage from each target in the opposite row. This is a really interesting ability. It's really cool, honestly. I think this might be one of the most interesting abilities we've gotten yet in Echocalypse, and there's a lot of actually interesting abilities here. But she's definitely a selfish unit. But if you could kind of build around her, she will just infinitely have rage, potentially. Really cool effect. Now, she can do a lot of damage. She can potentially inflict some cool debuffs, and the rage stripping effect is really cool. But in reality, you know, you probably want your other units also being able to use their abilities. So, you know, the opposite row of her is just going to be always giving the rage to her. Now, I don't know if she does enough damage to actually make up for that. She's a really cool unit. I'm going to pull for her in a second here in the video. But remember, we're getting some really, really good DPS units that I talked about in that release schedule. So like I said, check out that video in the description below if you haven't already. But you know, like Curry is going to be the next big target, and she's probably going to be more worthy target. But I'm a big fan of Horus. She just has some really interesting effects, and I love the Egyptian design. Weird jump cut here because I actually forgot to talk about her vibration arm before I started doing some summons for her. So let's take a look at what it actually does. It's called King of the World. And it's a really pretty cool weapon. I mean, everything about Wadjet is actually pretty cool. So let's see what it does. It's called Black Moon Tides, the ability here. And it says, whenever any allied case takes an action, Horus's crit rate and crit damage increases by 5%, stacking up to 3 times, and then after she takes an action, all the stacks are removed. So you want to make sure that there are at least 3 units going in front of her. This kind of goes along with her rage stealing ability, so she's probably going to be like the first unit in your second row, so she can take the rage from that row and then get her 3 stacks from each unit in front of her that's taking an action. Crit is very, very good in Echocalypse, so I would definitely recommend anybody who actually is going to be running Horus as their main DPS, you definitely want to get this vibration arm. It will definitely increase her damage, and you know, Horus is kind of an all-in. She's definitely a build around her, and you want to deal as much damage as you can with her because she's going to be taking all that rage. So she's got to be a hard carry for her. So make sure you pick this up. Let's go ahead and warm up with our daily 10 times summon. Maybe we can get some cool stuff. I rarely get cool stuff off of this. Yeah, all right, that's all pretty mid. Okay, maybe we used up our bad luck and we can go to Horus. Also, by the way, the weekly visitor is Wadjet, so you know, coming along with her, keeping that Egyptian theme from Naboo. Also, a really cool unit that has some like cool OP abilities with the mummy thing, but is like super unreliable. So, yeah. But if you need the link, like I said, I think her link had Wadjet. Did I just make that up? Yes, okay, one of them is Wadjet. Okay, all right. So I'm just going to do 1 multi-summons for her. You know, it's always good to have a new unit in your library, but I'm going to say for most people, she's probably going to be a pass, unless you dislike her, you know. So, all right, let's see. I got my gold light in the background. See if we can get something good. Show me. Oh, we got a good spark. It is from Naboo. Dang, 1 tap Horus. That's the way to do it. All right, thanks so much for watching, guys. Let me know if you have any additional questions on her, or if you're considering pulling her, or if you're going to skip her. I'd love to hear from you. Is there something I missed about her? Let me know. Maybe I should go for more copies of her. But heck, if I could just get every unit in 10, just like 1 multi-summons, that would be amazing. All right, I'll catch you guys in the next video or stream.